So today I want to continue my thoughts on UE5 and Hellblade. Been a long time coming for this video. I've been thinking about it, and I've been talking to certain members of the channel, and I just want to kind of go in and really give my thoughts, my honest opinion, after talking to some individuals about what we're seeing here and things like that. So before I get into all that, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to the channel. Please give this video a like or a dislike. You know, I like to hear from people. I really do, man. Even if it's positive or negative. You know, I really like hearing from you guys. I really like when you guys come in with your thoughts instead of just saying, you know, awesome video, this is going to be a great game or whatever, right? I really like to hear you guys' thoughts. But this is the last video I'm going to do on this subject because, to be honest with you, I'll be looking at my suggested subjects because you guys know what happens. YouTube come in, and this being at the very bottom of people's interests, this is probably going to be the last video on it because I'm not necessarily sure how connected you guys are to the importance of this video and this trailer being real or not. Plus I want to get into some Unreal Engine stuff. So as far as my opinion on Hellblade, this trailer is totally fake. Okay, I've looked at this trailer over and over and over again. Even while I'm recording this, I'm looking at it, and it's totally fake. This is a CGI scene. Now I know a lot of people see the stutters, a lot of people see the animation looking like Nanite. And I'll say what I said on my last video, is that Microsoft's job is to market this game. I will say this thing about Hellblade is that this game originally came out on the PS5. It didn't come out on Xbox. And I think Microsoft and Phil Spencer took real offense to that. And this is why Microsoft owns Ninja Theory. That's my personal opinion. If you guys remember, go back, read your stories or whatever, okay? You know, fact check me. When this game first released, it was like on a 6 months exclusive to PlayStation. And for whatever reason, Phil Spencer did not like that. This game was, the first Hellblade was very lauded for its art direction and stuff like that. I personally like the game. To me, most games should be made like how Hellblade is made. I mean, Hellblade is crafted. It's not even created. It's crafted, you know? And it wouldn't surprise me that they actually come out with a game that rival this trailer. It's just that the fact that they saying that this trailer is in game is totally absurd. Like, it's totally absurd, man. Anybody can see that this game is nowhere near a game in game real time. I mean, it's just not. Now, they're probably going for this direction. And I will say again, and I've said it before, that the Matrix Awakening trailer / demo for the Xbox and the PlayStation 5, that looks awesome. For what they're doing, that demo is so important to video gaming, man. You got to have graphics that are pushing the systems to the next level. Now, with that being said, they need to make this thing 60 frames per second. They need to make Nanite and Lumen and all this Unreal Engine 5 stuff. They need to make this thing 60 frames per second. But by no means is this an in-game trailer. It's just not. I wish it was, but it's not. And so that's my last thing on it. I'm not going to talk about this no more. I've already said the reasons why that this game is not in-game. You have to keep watching it for yourself, but I just don't think that people care about it. But it is absurd. It is absurd. It's totally obnoxious for Microsoft to pin this and send their cronies after me, trying to convince me that this thing is real time. It's not. Moving on. Let's talk about UE5 for a little bit. So I just want to clear up the perception that this is using UE4. Some of you guys are like, no, obviously it's not using UE4, but I just want to make sure I squash the opinion that this is UE4, that Matrix Awakening is using UE4. They're not. Okay? None of this is UE4. Right now, they're working on UE5. Now, I've heard from multiple sources that UE5 is the primary target and the primary tool set that they're making all of this on. So, and the reason why I brought that up, because that was in the comments as well, and I think that we need to have an understanding that this is not in any shape or form using UE4. So I just want to make sure that others aren't confused or whatever, at least about what I'm saying. But UE5 is supposed to use two graphical tools to push the graphics to the next level. And it's important that people understand that UE5 is not out yet. Only two companies that I know of has been working on UE5. Well, at least three companies, right? That's the Coalition from Microsoft, whoever at Sony. I'm thinking it's Insomniac, to be honest with you. But I know the first Lumen game that had came out even before all these trailers for UE5 had came out, between Hellblade and Matrix Awakening. The first one was Valley of the Ancients, controlling a lady called Echo. The Lumen is the lighting and the terrain and to the terrain deformation or whatever. All of that is Nanite. And so it's very important for people to understand that these tool sets are not in their final stages. Like, they're not coming out with a UE5 game tomorrow. These tools are probably coming out toward the middle endish of the generation. I want to say around 2024, 2025. If it comes out earlier, that's fine. But the Matrix Awakening demo is extremely important because that is a jump start on what the potential of UE5 is. And I think they're going to try to target Matrix Awakening, but it's important that you guys understand that, you know, there's no collision sequences. Really, the memory is maxed out. Okay, the memory is maxed out, especially on the Xbox Series S, which is a console that I might make another video on that. That console is pathetic. But you know, the memory's maxed out. They don't have any real collision, no real programming for any of the sequences to make a game. They are in a situation where the game could only hold so much memory, like Matrix Awakening. And so there's only demos. There's no real, okay, we're starting on a game using UE5. I think they're really trying to continuously make demos so that they can increase the amount of functionality that UE5 has. I think that's the way they're doing it. That's why you see these demos. You see the Lumen video demo, and then now you got this for Matrix Awakening. And so I think what's happening is that they're understanding what target they need to go into and what direction they need to go into graphically. And while the frame rate and stuff is an issue, that's probably like the last frontier, I think it's extremely important if they really want to get this off the ground. I think it's extremely important. You've heard me say this before, but it's very important that they get this stuff running up to 60 frames per second. And it's not necessarily what's feasible or what's not. You probably have to scale this down. There's probably a lot of optimization tricks and probably a lot of horsepower underneath the Xbox and the PlayStation that has not been tapped and it's probably untapped right now. And they're trying to tap into that power, that nth degree of power that's going to allow them to get this thing up to 60 frames per second. But you got to get it up there. And that's my hopes of it. Whatever they add to it, even if they basically come out with a tech demo, something similar to the Order of 1886, which is basically a tech demo. They come out with something like that using UE5, I think they'd be on to something. But again, 60 frames per second has got to be the target, even if it's not necessarily there most of the time. If it's at like 40 frames per second, 50 frames per second, man, if they can just get that close, I think that people will find a lot of goodwill with this new engine. And of course, you can always make a 30 frames per second version of the game in question, but it's just important that 60 frames per second be like the lead target, because I just think games right now look a lot better and a lot more natural at 60 frames per second versus just trying to make some type of film grain filmic look. It's just not working. Even right now, I try to play something like The Last of Us, or you try to play a game like Uncharted, and they're making those games 60 frames per second for a reason. Let's just put it like that, because it's just a more natural look for a game. And I think they've done the hard work. They've put the latest processors in there, and they've also put a good GPU into those consoles. Man, let the PC struggle with those heavy graphics, man. Don't put those heavy graphics on the consoles, man, without having a 60 frames per second option. I just think that would be such a bad move that I think they'll lose a lot of goodwill. But, hey, Epic, Sony, and Microsoft are working hard on these games, and I think that's what it's all about at the end, trying to get these games out and trying to have them have a hyper realistic look to it is extremely important for gaming, but it's not to have it to the point where it looks like a film. To me, if I want to play a film, I will go to the movies. The CGI stuff, man, let's just keep it in the tech demo range, man. Let's not have these trailers that are misleading like this, and I think that looks bad on Epic. I think it looks bad on Microsoft, and I wouldn't blame Sony. I'm pretty sure Epic probably came up to Sony and said, hey, we can build some UE5 stuff using CGI. No, Sony wouldn't do that, man. I mean, they may overblow as far as the graphics is concerned, but you can be assured that most of their stuff is in game. They're not going to do no more Killzone stuff. But this is on that level. This is on that Killzone level. This is just totally, even if they had it like Watch Dogs or something like that, you knew that was in game. It just wasn't on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox. So anyway, that's all I want to say about UE5. It's a great concept, and I can't wait to have it in my hands, in my controller to play. This is Al from Transformational Gaming, and remember, the truth shall set you free. Later.